Hello student. So let's start our discussion. In previous tutorial we have started our discussion with the loop. In that tutorial we have discussed while loop. So in this tutorial we will discuss for loop. So how for loop is implemented into the Python. So let's start our discussion. Simple. Let me give you a simple example of for loop. For example, for I in range 0, no need to specify the starting value, and no need to specify increment. Simply specify where you want to stop, and then simply let's print the value of I, so we can have idea. So here, as you can see, if we will execute this, then it will by default it will start with 0 and then it will go up to 10. Here you have to observe that the range is non-inclusive, means whatever value we will specify over here, it won't be considered. Okay, so up to that value, so not including that value. Let me show you some another form of for loop. Here in range we can specify the argument, like let's say 1. We will start with the 1, we will go up to 10, and step size will be 2. So let's see what we are getting. As you can see, it will start with 1, but every time it will be incremented by 2. So I is equals to 1, 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 5 2 5, 5 plus 2 7, and 7 plus 2 9, 9 plus 2 11. So it is out of this range, so it won't be considered. Clear with this? Okay, now here you can also specify negative index, let's say 10 to 1. So, and here step size will be -1. So 10 9 8 7 6. So it will start with the 10, but it will not consider the boundary ending. Here we will get output from 10 to 2, so won't be considered. Similarly, instead of -1 we can specify -2, and then we will get 10 8 6 4 2. So this is how you can implement the for loop into the Python. Now let's have one example. Let's try to execute the for loop by getting the value from the user. Okay, so for example, start equals to integer input, and then we will display message enter starting range. Okay, similarly we will get ending range from the user, and similarly we will get the step size, so sp. So starting, instead of starting range, here we will say ending range. Here step size, and then we will try to implement a fully dynamic for loop. So for I in range, we will specify start, then end plus 1 if we want to include that value, and then step. Okay, and then we will simply print the value of I. So let's execute it. Let's say we want to start with the 3, we want to go up to 30, and step size is 5. So 3 8, 3 plus 5 8, 8 plus 5 13, 13 plus 5 18, 18 plus 5 23, and 23 plus 5 28. Okay, so this is how it can be implemented. Now you just try to remember that whenever we are using range function, okay, the one argument which is required, that is stop value. Okay, so we can we can write the range function in 3 way. For example, range 10, then range, and we will specify 3 argument. Start, let's say we want to start with the 0, we want to go up to 10, and third function range 0, 10 and 1. So all three are same. Okay, all three will give us same result. Okay, so range function will actually return the list of number. Okay, so let's say if you want to create a list, then a equals to range 10 and then we will print it range 0 to 10. Okay, so it has simply assigned the value. Now if we want to convert this into the list, then let's execute it. As you can see, whatever value will be returned by range, it will be converted into the list, and then that list will be assigned to a. So I hope you people are clear with the working of the range function. So range will return the number or set up the number in form of list, and so that we have to convert into the list explicitly, and then we can assign it into the variable. Now let's have some example that how we can use for loop. For example, let's say we want to generate following pattern, which we have done many times. We normally call it pyramid, star pyramid. Yes, so this kind of pattern we want to generate. Now here the number of row we will get from the user. So we will try to convert, we will try to make this program dynamic. Means number of row we will get from the user. Okay, so first let us implement it statically, and then we will make it dynamic. So for I in range, let's say 5. Okay, here we will initially we will print we will generate the 5 lines. Then for j we will use another variable for j in range. Here we will specify value up to I plus 1. Okay, and then we will print star. Now here we will use another feature. Let's say if you are using the print function, then if you are not specifying any by default end, okay, then end of the print function will be the new line. Now here you can also specify end. Let's say we want output of this inner for loop. We want output of this inner for loop into the same line. Okay, and then after that we will execute simple print. Okay, so this inner for loop will generate horizontal line. Okay, and then this print will shift the cursor from the end of the previous line to starting or beginning of the next or new line. So let's just try to execute and see the output what we are getting. So here we have to write it in bracket. Yes, we are getting it. So how many line we are getting? 5 line. Now let's simply make it dynamic. We will get a number from the user. Let's say x is equals to int input, and then we will convert it into the, means we will get input from the user and then we will convert it into the integer. So enter total number of rows. Clear with this? And then here instead of 5 we will write it x. So let's say we want 7 number of line. So if we enter 7, then we will get this kind of pattern, 3 plus 3 plus 1. Okay, if we enter 10, then we will get 10 line for this pattern. Now let's have a look at the another example. Here we will try to generate same pyramid but with the different pattern. Okay, there we have used star. Here we can even also specify the character which we want to print. Okay, so y is equals to, let's say, input enter character to be printed. Okay, and then here instead of this we will put y. So let's try to execute it. Let's say we want 5, and the symbol which we want to use is percentage. Yes, so this is how we can make it fully dynamic. Now here we will go with some other logic. Let's say 1, then 0 and 1, then 1 0 1, then here 0 1 0 1, then here 1 0 1 0 1, then here again 0 1 0 1 0 1. So this kind of pattern we want to generate, pyramid. Okay, so here what we will do, here we will use the modulo operation. Here we are just trying to learn that how we can use the various operations, arithmetic operators and for loop combinedly to generate this kind of output. So same as previous same as previous program or previous example, we will try to implement make it static, and then we will go with the dynamic. So this same thing we will use here. We were not using the value of I and j, so this same loop we will use here. Okay, but what we will do, instead of printing the same character, here we will print the modulo of j. Okay, here if we start with this, then here let's have a execution so you can have a better idea. Here we will simply print the modulo. So j modulo 2 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Okay, so actually we were looking for 1. So here what we will do, we will start with the 1. Okay, in range we will start with the 1, and then let's observe the output. Okay, so this is the desired pattern which we are looking for. Okay, so here we will also start with 1, then we will get this kind of output. Clear with this? Okay, now here we have used I which is declared in the previous program. So let's see that how many line of code we are getting. So for 5 we are getting 4 lines. Okay, so here we will get a number from the user. For example, x is equals to int input enter number of rows to be generated. Okay, here why we are getting only 4 row, because here we are starting with the index 1, not 0. Okay, so if we are starting with the index 0, then 0 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, but here instead of that, here we are starting with the 1, so 1 2 3 and 4. So because of that only we are getting 4 line. Okay, so don't get confused that although we have given 5, then why we are getting only 4 lines. So here we have received the input from the user. Now let's increment it. So let's try to see what happened. 7 line, yes. So 1 2 3, then 4 5 6 and 7. So as you can see, this is how we can use the for loop. Now another program that we can do with the help of the you can say this for loop. Okay, that is matrix addition. So what I will do that in tutorials we will keep discussion up to only introduction. After completion of so this tutorial series, we will have an exercise session where I will list a program. I will list set of the programs which you have to implement using whatever videos you have watched or whatever you have learned from the content. Okay, so matrix addition and then matrix multiplication and all those kind of program that we will discuss that. Okay, I will also upload the solution file for same on GitHub repository. Okay, so in this tutorial what we have discussed, we have started with the simple for loop. Okay, and then we have seen that how we can use the range function, and then we have print the output of simple for loop. Then we have get the input from the, you can say, user, three input, starting range or ending range and step size, and then we have printed. And then we have seen that how range function can be written in three way using only you can say ending range, then starting and ending, then starting, ending and stop. And then we have seen that how we can generate the list using the range function, and then we can print it. After that we have seen that how we can generate this kind of pattern using for loop, and then we have seen that how we can use how we can generate this kind of pattern using for loop and arithmetic operator modulo. Okay, clear with this? So in this tutorial we will keep up to this. In next tutorial we will try to discuss what is comprehension. Okay, so how we can write the inline function. So in this tutorial we will end our discussion. Thank you.